Good evening, everybody. There we go. Good evening, everybody. Let me just get myself nice and comfortable today. Wearing warm clothes because it's a little bit chilly out. And at some stage in the near future, maybe we'll even actually light the fireplace behind me as it's getting to that time of year again. Can you imagine? We started my name is Joanna Godwin Seidl, for those of you who don't know. Thank you for the hearts and likes and little hugs already. I run Vienna Theatre Project, and with my colleague Saman Giraud, I started reading 1001 Arabian Nights in the lockdown in Vienna in Austria in March. And at that time of the year, it was getting a little bit warmer already, but not too warm. And we still did have a couple of evenings where I was going to light the fire and stuff, but never got around to it. But now it really is getting to that time of year where lighting the fire is going to be a real possibility and a real opportunity. And at the moment, of course, we have to take every opportunity that we can get to find comfort and solace in these rather strange times. I hope from my heart that you're all feeling very well this evening. I shall be reading to you again from 1001 Arabian Nights. And I do believe that we are going to start on the 156th night. Excuse me a minute, because I just have to turn that down. There we go. So we are going to start on the 156th night of 1001 Arabian Nights. And just to let you know, if you want to watch any of the other previous nights, as I said, they did start sometime around March, and you're welcome anytime on the Facebook/Vienna Theatre Project page to go back and look and read, listen rather, because of course you don't have to read it, but listen to all the previous nights that Samantha and I have read, and we are aiming to read the whole 1001 nights, and this is the Burton translation, and now we are on the 156th night. So please enjoy. I will be reading 2 nights tonight. So children, if you are all like me, sitting comfortably and cozy in wherever you are, then let's get to it. Let me just turn this down a little bit more. Oops, I just turned it up, not down. There we go. All right. Scheherazade said, "It has reached me, O auspicious king, that when Abu al-Hassan rose to take leave of him, Ali, son of Bakar, exclaimed, 'O my brother, leave me not without news.' 'I hear and obey,' replied the other, and forthwith went away, and repairing to his shop, opened it, and sat there all day, expecting news of Shams al-Nahar. But none came. He passed the night in his own house, and, when dawned the day, he walked to Ali bin Bakar's lodgings, and went in and found him thrown on his bed with his friends about him and physicians around him prescribing him something or other, and the doctors feeling his pulse. When he saw Abu al-Hassan, he entered, he smiled, and the visitor, after saluting him, inquired how he did, and sat with him till the folk withdrew, when he said to him, 'What plight is this?' Quoth Ali bin Bakar, 'It was bruited abroad that I was ill, and my comrades heard of the report, and I have no strength to rise and walk, so as to give him the lie who noised abroad my sickness, but continue lying strown here as thou seest. So my friends came to visit me. Say, however, O my brother, hast thou seen the slave girl, or heard any news of her on Tigris's bank?' And he presently added, 'I have not seen her since the day we parted from her on Tigris's bank.' And then he said, 'And O my brother, beware thou of scandal, and leave this weeping.' Rejoined Ali, 'O my brother, indeed I have no control over myself.' And he sighed and began reciting, 'She gives me her woman's hand, a force that fails the hand of me, and with red dye on wrist she gars my patience fail and flee. And for her hand she fears so sore what shafts her eyes discharge. She's fain to clothe and guard her hand with mail ring panoply. The leech in ignorance felt my pulse, the while to him I cried, 'Sick is my heart, so quit my hand, which hath no malady.' Quoth she, to that fair nightly vision favoured me and fled. 'By Allah, picture him, nor add, nor bate in least degree.' Replied the dream, 'I leave him though he die of thirst, I cry. Stand off from water pit, and say why this persistency?' Rained tear pearls her Narcissus eyes and rose on cheek belit. She made my sherbet, and the loatful bits of hail she bit. And when his recital was ended, he said, O Abu al-Hasan, I am smitten an ancient affliction, from which I deemed myself in perfect surety, and there is no greater case for me than death. Replied he, Be patient. Haply Allah will heal thee. Then he went out from him, and repairing to his shop, opened it. Nor had he sat long when suddenly up came the handmaid who saluted him. He returned her salam, and looking at her, saw that her heart was palpitating, and that she was in sore trouble, and showed signs of great affliction. So he said to her, Thou art welcome, and well come. How is it with Shams al-Nahar? She answered, I will presently tell thee, but first let me know how I doth Ali bin Bakar. So he told her all that had passed, and how his case stood, whereat she grieved and sighed and lamented, and marvelled at his condition. Then said she, My lady's case is still stranger than this. For when you went away and fared homewards, I turned back, my heart beating hard on your account, and hardly crediting your escape. On entering, I found her lying prostrate in the pavilion, speaking not, nor answering any, whilst the commander of the faithful sat by her head, not knowing what ailed her, and finding none who would make known to him aught of her ailment. She ceased not from her swoon till midnight, when she recovered, and the prince of the faithful said to her, What harm hath happened to thee, O Shams al-Nahar, and what hath befallen thee this night? Now, when she heard the Caliph's words, she kissed his feet and said, Allah make me thy ransom, O Prince of true believers. Verily, a sourness of stomach lighted a fire in my body, so that I lost my senses for excess of pain, and I know no more of my condition. Asked the Caliph, What hast thou eaten today? And she answered, I broke my fast on something I had never eaten before. Then she feigned to be recovered, and calling for something of wine, drank it, and begged the sovereign to resume his diversion. So he sat down again on his couch in the pavilion, and the sitting was resumed. But when she saw me, she asked me how you fared. I told her what I had done with you both, and repeated to her the verses which Ali bin Bakar had composed at parting tide, whereat she wept secretly, but presently held her peace. After a while, the commander of the faithful ordered a damsel to sing, and she began reciting, Life has no sweet for me, since forth ye fared. Would heaven I wot how fare ye who forsake. 'Twere only fit my tears were tears of blood, since you are weeping for mine absence sake. But when my lady heard this verse, she fell back on the sofa in a swoon, and Shahrazad perceived the dawn of day and ceased saying her permitted say. I'm going to leave you with music for 2 seconds while I just go and check something, and then we will continue with the 157th night. Sorry, I just had to let my dog in. Hello, baby. Hi. Be careful, don't knock the tripod. Sorry, my dog has just joined us. Oh, there we go. Yes, no, don't knock the tripod, lovey. Go around, Georgie. There you go. I left him outside, unfortunately, poor thing. Right. Are you all still sitting comfortably? Then I will continue with the 147th night. Yes. So, oh, thanks. The clapping happened just perfectly, didn't it? So, now, when it was the 157th night, Shahrazad said, "It has reached me, O auspicious king, that the slave girl continued to Abu al-Hasan. But when my lady heard this verse, she fell back on the sofa in a swoon, and I seized her hand and sprinkled rose water on her face till she revived. When I said to her, 'O my lady, expose not thyself, and all thy palace containeth. By the life of thy beloved, be thou patient,' she replied, 'Can aught befall me worse than death, which indeed I seek, for by Allah, my ease is therein?' Whilst we were thus talking, another damsel sang these words of the poet. Quoth they, 'Maybe that patience lend thee ease.' Quoth I, 'Since fared he, where is patience place? Covenant he made twixt me and him to cut the cords of patience at our last embrace.' As soon as she had finished her verse, Shams al-Nahar swooned away once more, which, when the Caliph saw, he came to her in haste and commanded the wine to be removed and each damsel to return to her chamber. He abode with her the rest of the night, and when dawned the day, he sent for chirurgeons and leeches and bade them medicine her, knowing not that her sickness arose from love and longing. I tarried with her till I deemed her in a way of recovery, and this is what kept me from here and from thee. I have now left her with a number of her body women, who were greatly concerned for her, when she bade me go to you two and bring her news of Ali bin Bakr, and return to her with the tidings. When Abu al-Hasan heard her story, he marvelled and said, 'By Allah, I have acquainted thee with his whole case. So now return to thy mistress, and salute her for me, and diligently exhort her to have patience, and say to her, keep thy secret, and tell her that I know all her case, which is indeed hard, and one which calleth for nice conduct.' She thanked him, and taking leave of him, returned to her mistress. So far concerning her. But as regards Abu al-Hasan, he ceased not to abide in his shop till the end of the day, when he arose and shut it and locked it, and betaking himself to Ali bin Bakr's house, knocked at the door. One of the servants came out and admitted him, and when Ali saw him, he smiled and congratulated himself on his coming, saying, 'O Abu al-Hasan, thou hast desolated me by thine absence this day, for indeed my soul is pledged to thee during the rest of my time.' Answered the other, 'Leave this talk. Were thy healing at the price of my hand, I would cut it off ere thou couldst ask me, and I could ransom thee with my life I had already laid it down for thee. Now, this very day, Shams al-Nahar's handmaid hath been with me and told me that what hindered her coming, ere this was the Caliph's sojourn with her mistress. And she acquainted with me everything which had betided her. And he went on to repeat to him all that the girl had told of him of Shams al-Nahar, at which Ali bin Bakkar lamented sore and wept, and said to him, Allah upon thee, O my brother, help me in this affliction, and teach me what course I shall take. Moreover, I beg thee of thy grace to abide with me this night, that I may have the solace of thy society. Abu al-Hasan agreed to this request, replying that he would readily light there. So they talked together till eventide darkened, when Ali bin Bakkar groaned aloud and lamented and wept copious tears, reciting these couplets. Thine image is these eyne, a lip thy name, my heart thy home. Lo, couldst thou disappear? How sore I grieve for life which comes to end, nor see I boon of union, far or near. And these words of another. She split my cask of courage with eyes swords that sorely smite. She pierced my patience ring mail with her shape like Cain's spear light. Patched by the musky mole on cheek was to our sight displayed. Camphor set round with ambergris, light dawning through the night. Her soul was sorrowed, and she bit chameleon, stone with pearls, whose unions in a sugared tank ever to lurk unite. Restless, she sighed and smote with palm the snows that cloth her breast, and left a mark whereon I looked and ne'er beheld such sight. Pens fashioned of her coral nails with ambergris for ink, 5 lines on crystal page of breast did cruelly indite. O swordsman, armed with trusty steel, I bid you all beware, when she on you bends deadly glance, which fascinates the sprite. And guard thyself, O thou of spear, when as she draweth near, to tilt with slender quivering shape, likest the nut-brown spear. And when Ali bin Bakkar ended his verse, he cried out with a great cry and fell down in a fit. Abu al-Hasan thought that his soul had fled his body, and he ceased not from his swoon till daybreak, when he came to himself and talked with his friend, who continued to sit with him till the full noon. Then he left him and repaired to his shop, and hardly had he opened it, when lo, the damsel came and stood by his side. As soon as he saw her, she made him a sign of salutation, which he returned, and she delivered to him the greeting message of her mistress, and asked, How doth Ali bin Bakkar? Answered he, O handmaid of good, ask me not of his case, nor what he suffereth for excess of love-longing. He sleepeth not by night, neither resteth he by day. Wakefulness wasteth him, and care hath conquered him, and his condition is a consternation to his friend. Quoth she, My lady saluteth thee and him. She hath written him a letter, for indeed she is in worse case than he, and she entrusted the same to me, saying, Do not return, save with the answer, and do thou obey my bidding. Here now is the letter, so say wilt thou wend with me to him, that we may get his reply. I hear and obey, Abu al-Hassan said, and, locking his shop and taking with him the girl, he went by a way different from that whereby he came to Ali bin Bakar's house, when he left her standing at the door and walked in. And Shahrazad perceived the dawn of day and ceased to say her permitted say. Oh, hi Raquel. Hi Waltraud. Hi everybody, it's so lovely to see you. So, dear friends, that was the end of today's reading. We will be back with more tomorrow night. It was an absolute pleasure reading for you. I hope you are all keeping very, very well. I wish you a beautiful day today. If it's only just started, if you are about to go to bed, as usual, beautiful dreams. A good day tomorrow, that's very, very important. I hope it brings you lots of health and opportunities and good fortune. I send you many blessings and I wish you a very, very, very good night. Bye-bye, everybody. Take care of yourselves. Good night.